Alright, hello everyone and welcome to Mega Man 2. Alright, so Dact will be starting off with Flashman stage. Basically, in this speedrun we'll be getting items 1, 2 and 3 as early as possible, and we go to Flash first because basically there's not many ways that any of the other items could save time here. So this stage is really just basic platforming. The much more interesting stuff will start in Heatman. Yeah, so this speedrun is on the easy difficulty, normal difficulty. It's the easy difficulty, which is only playable on the English releases of the game. And on normal mode, all the enemies take double damage from Mega Man, and that's the main difference. So it means that you beat bosses twice as quickly. There's a lot less randomness to those. But playing on the English version means that you have about 40 seconds of time lost to the cutscenes in between levels. And so this is the Flashman fight. Dac's just going to buster him down, try to hit him as quickly as possible, and got him. That is not a particularly easy fight. It's definitely easier on easy mode, normal mode. And now for the best part of the English runs, cutscenes. Yeah. So now that Dact has item 3, which he got from beating Flash, he'll be heading to Heatman stage, where he'll be able to use that item 3 for to zip and skip part of the level. So one thing you'll notice in a moment is that Dact is going to switch weapons while mid-air. This is useful for two reasons. First of all, switching weapon mid-air or pausing resets your vertical velocity, which means you can just get a bit of extra distance on jumps if you pause and unpause. Oh, and here's the first zip of the run. Basically, you use the item 3 to shove yourself into the wall, and then face left, and Mega Man starts moving at just a 1 tile per frame, which is much faster than any other form of movement. And coming up next is the Heatman boss. This is a big source of randomness in the run, because after you shoot Heatman, he can pause for either 30, 60 or 90 frames, so half a second, or a second and a half, and it's 1/3 chance of each, so this fight you can lose several seconds without doing anything wrong. That was not a terrible pattern. And beating Heatman gives us item 1, which is probably one of the most useful items in the run. It's used for several zips and just general, just allows you to skip a lot of platforming as well. And we'll be seeing a lot of item 1 used in Airman stage, which is where he'll be going next. So Airman stage is just quite a challenging platforming stage. Dak uses Flash Stopper at the start to stop himself from getting hit by... There's normally metal things that come out of these guys and hit you. So using Flash Stopper can just stop that for the first segment of the level anyway. Nice. And then Dak gets hit by the bird there deliberately. So normally when he gets hit by the birds, he wants to keep 2 of them on screen to prevent any more from spawning, or any of the eggs from spawning. But unfortunately he only managed to keep 1 there. And in a moment he'll do a little turn back to the left. That's in order to get the bird to spawn from the left side of the screen. The bird just spawns from the side of the screen that you're facing towards. So doing a quick... So the Airman boss just shoots air things at you. The pattern, there's about 5 different patterns he can shoot with. That's not an ideal pattern, but still not too bad.
$22 donation from Bonesaw577. Hey dudes, just wanted to donate to a good cause during my pal Dave's run. Hey Dave, good luck man, good luck to all the runners.
And up next we have Crashman stage. Yeah, which has a very interesting zip. So things are going to get pretty crazy in the first screen if all goes according to plan. So hopefully what Dak's going to do here is place item 1s in the correct manner, and then he'll zip himself out of this screen. Didn't quite get it there. So he'll be going for a backup here on the second screen, which is essentially the same trick, just a bit slower. And now you'll notice that what's on the screen really doesn't match where Mega Man is going. But basically the way this works is that the game tracks Mega Man's position in the level in 2 different ways, and you end up with what you see versus where he actually is being 2 different things. Oh yeah, so you'll notice that he went and died there. So the point of that is that essentially by going ahead in the level, you can get to a checkpoint, and then you might not necessarily be able to continue out of bounds. So by death abusing there, we can get back into the regular level. This section of the level is just trying to place item 3s in good spots to climb these ladders a bit faster. And so you'll notice he fought the first 3 bosses with Buster. From now on we'll be fighting bosses with their weaknesses, with the exception of 1 in the refights. Crash is weak to air, and we can kill him in just a couple of seconds. So now that we're no longer getting items given to us by Dr. Light, the cutscenes between levels are significantly shorter. So So the main reason we go to quick stage at this point is because we've got crash bombs, and quick is weak to crash bombs. But this stage is a lot of falling with a couple of neat zips. So here's another zip, pretty similar to the one we saw in Heatman. And Dak paused during the zip, or not paused, but delayed during the zip in order to keep the lights on. If you just zip all the way through there without stopping, the lights will not be on during this section, which some people run like that, but it's just significantly more difficult. Dak's going to go for another zip, which, if he overzips here, then he will soft lock the game. Okay, and we're fine. So, for some reason, you can still activate the boss doors even if you're just above the door. And then, Quickman is weak to crash. We just shoot him with 4 crash bombs and he's dead. So the next stage we'll be heading to is Metal Man, because he's weak to quick boomerang. We could head to wood stage at this point, but it's useful to have metal for wood. Just as a backup strat, it makes things easier if you make a mistake. So we have another quick zip at the start of Metal Man stage. So Dak used an item 2 there just to sort of skip over some of the platforming of the level. And because it's a bit, item 2 moves you faster than walking. And then Metal Man, we can just sort of hold quick boomerang and keep hitting him. And he won't move, which is quite useful for fighting him. Alright, up next is Woodman stage, which has one of the craziest looking zips in the run. But again, he'll start this one off with an item 2, just because faster than walking lets you get through this first screen easily. And then he's going to switch to Flash Stopper here, and freeze time just before heading down that ladder, because on these 3 screens there'd normally be dogs in your way, and you can't get past them unless you kill them. Even if you try damage boosting through, they basically create their own invisible wall. So by freezing time, we can get through there without having to deal with the dogs. And here's where things get crazy. I can't even explain half of what's going on here. But essentially, he's just on a different screen to what you see. And one thing I didn't mention in Crashman stage is that when he death abuses here, he charges Heatman weapon and fires it, and that stops the death animation early and just lets you respawn straight away. And here's Woodman. And he's gone. Woodman's weak to heat for obvious reasons, and if you on normal mode, you can just kill him with one fully charged heat shot. And up next is the last of the Robot Masters, Bubble Man. So once again, Dak's just going to hop on the item 2 to get through this first screen. And they'll be switching to item 1 shortly in order to do a zip later in the stage. A little bit of a low item 1 there, but still good enough for the zip. And then he switches to Metal Man just to get through these enemies, and because he'll be using it to kill Bubble Man. Because everyone knows that metal is strong against water. Ooh! Just jumped a slight bit too high there and went into the spike ceiling. That's quite unfortunate. But thankfully we can just start from this checkpoint and go for that zip again. And also have plenty of metal blades for the rest of the level. Oh, and the fish doesn't respawn. Wasn't actually aware of that. So Bubble Man, when he fights you, he'll start the fight by either shooting 1, 2, or 3 bubbles. Ideally, we want 1 bubble. Yeah. But then we just shoot him with metal blades. Thankfully, yep, only 1 bubble. If he spawns 3, it gets particularly laggy and quite slow.
A $53.65 donation from Mr. Cab. Don't hug the dragon.
Thanks, Cab. And now we're heading into the Wily stages. The main difference between the Wily stages and the regular stages is really that you don't, well, A, you don't get to pick the order, and B, you don't get weapon energy back between stages, so he'll be carefully managing all of his ammo usage for the rest of the run. So he's going to use most of his item 2 here for this first screen of Wily 1. Because it's a long open space, perfect for item 2 usage, and still leaves a little bit of ammo for one that he'll be using in Wily 2. So what he's done here is a vertical zip, which is just let him skip to the top of the next screen, and hopefully he'll be able to get another one. Moment. Oh, no, looks like he's not set up right for it. So he'll just be climbing this ladder instead. Missing that only loses a couple of seconds. It's definitely not a huge deal. And then he's going to switch to Quick Boomerang, which he'll be using to kill the dragon. And hopefully not hugging the dragon, because the dragon will just instantly kill you if you run into him. And there goes the dragon. not that quick boomerang deals a lot of damage, it's just that you can just keep mashing those boomerangs into him. So here at the start of Wily 2 we'll be seeing another item 1 set. This is probably one of the more dangerous ones because you're doing it over a spike pit, and if you miss you are probably going to fall into spikes. So no pressure or anything. Nice. And then he switches to item 2 here. As I said earlier, switching or pausing the game reduces your fall speed to 0. So when he was doing that zip, he was slowly falling out of the wall, and switching to item 2 there just lets him zip far enough and get to the ladder. And this corridor here has these guys. These guys will give you drops, and drops are slow. Ideally you want to get no drops through here. Instead we got 2 big refills. And then flash stop is used to get through this section, just to avoid those crushes. And now Dak's gonna fight Pico Pico-kun, who is just probably one of the easiest bosses, but if you get hit by him a couple of times, then it's pretty bad. This guy deals a lot of damage. But he's entirely predictable. These things are spawning from the same places each time, like every time you do this fight. So he knows exactly what to expect. Next is Wily 3. Pretty straightforward stage really, just platforming straight to the boss, nothing fancy. Switches to quick boomerang early on because that's what we will be using to fight Guts Tank. One fish. And here's Guts Tank. Guts Tank is a pretty straightforward boss. You just jump, mash him down with quick boomerang. 2 jump is basically the best a human can expect to do with that boss. If you're absolutely insane, you can get him down in 1, but that's basically never going to happen. And here's Wily 4, which is by far one of the more difficult stages in the game. Has some tricky platforming, and it has some tricky platforming, and then a crazy, annoying boss at the end. So you'll notice that he's jumping there, which seems unnecessary, but there's actually an invisible floor. Oh, sorry, an invisible hole in the floor. And then switches to item 1 for most of the rest of the stage, except for the boss. So he's just using item 1 to get through this section of the stage faster. So unfortunately that's a game over, which means he won't go to the checkpoint of the stage. But it does mean he gets to attempt the best zip in the game again. Nice. So what happened there was he grabbed the screen a little bit lower, and as soon as he started climbing the ladder, after the screen transition, he was still in the screen transition area, just went back down. Which is one of the perks of grabbing a ladder off screen. That can happen if you do it too low. Okay, got that this time. Yeah. So one thing I'm not sure I've mentioned yet is that if you get hit by an enemy and then land on insta-kill spikes, you just won't get killed for the duration of your invincibility frames. And here we have another zip, which should take us right into the boss room. And then he has to react carefully and zip into the right spot of the fight, which he does. And what he's doing there, getting hit there was actually intentional. He positioned himself precisely so that he can get what's called a damage transfer on that guy. Essentially, when he got hit, it was during a crash bomb animation, and it sort of stores the explosion. And you have to be... The positioning's quite precise, and then you can later run into run into one of those guys and sort of transfer the explosion to them, killing them with fewer crash bombs than would normally be necessary. And now we're up to refights. So this is just going through refighting all of the 8 robot masters again, except now we have most of their weaknesses. So Quickman is weak to crash, but we only have 2 crash bombs, and we want to save those for the Wily machine. So it is, I think it's just as fast to kill Woodman with heat here, but saves a weapon transition, and you'd normally kill him with air shooter in difficult mode as well, so it's just sort of easier to do the same thing for both of them. And he will kill with heat with bubble, well, 1 shot from the Buster and then 2 from bubble. Because the Buster, if you've already got the Buster out, it shoots a little bit faster at the start of the fight. You don't have to wait for the bubble to slowly roll over. So 2 bubble from Bubble Man that time, which is also not bad, although it doesn't lag nearly as much in the refight for some reason. And then Metal refight is just great. He is weak to metal for some reason, and you can just kill him in 1 shot in normal mode. And now we have Wily Machine, so Dak's just going to mash him down with a bit of metal and then finish him off with a couple of crash bombs. And, oh, we beat the game. Nope. So Wily Machine, not actually the final boss. So we have 1 more zip here in Wily 6. Straight into the boss room. Nice, no overzips in the run. So now we have to fight the alien, because Dr. Wily's an alien apparently. And aliens, we all know, are weak to water, so we just mash him down with Bubble Shooter. Bubble lead. Ah, missed that shot, but time. Yeah. Oh, and it turns out the alien was a hologram all along. And that's Mega Man 2.
I'll definitely take a sub 30 with 2 deaths. That was alright. And a game over. Thanks for watching.